Hey everyone, welcome to another $1,000 strap search. I've got my $1,000 in singles here and I'm about to show you what I found. But before I do, let's talk about this week's tip. Now, when you're collecting small head currency, I would recommend collecting denominations that aren't used as much because they aren't printed as much. Like, for instance, everybody's always looking for $2 bills, which means that more $2 bills are saved than actually spent. But the other denomination you should be looking for are 50s. Generally speaking, $50 bills are not used very often. In poker, they're even considered bad luck. So yeah, they don't print a lot of 50s because you don't use a lot of 50s. Therefore, there's a smaller supply, therefore a greater demand. So if you start leaning toward collecting older notes, maybe the 50 denomination is the note you should be looking for. All right, that's what I've got for you guys this week. Let's get these out of the way and take a look at what I found. Starting off, found a Where's George. I have not seen a Where's George that's got the stamp on the top like that before, so I know this is a new one for me, so I will be logging this as soon as I am done with the video. Found another Where's George. I have seen this stamp before. That I'm still going to log this as well just to see where it's been. I found an alternator. 57, 57, 1727, 57, 57, 17, 27. You have 7 as the alternator on this particular bill. Then I found a birthday note. Now, this is 1959, the 14th of December. So it's not the traditional order, but I'm sure if your birthday was the 14th of December 1959, you would be happy to own this. Here's another birthday note. This one would be either June 8th, 1944, or it would be the 6th of August, 1944. And this one's in really nice shape as well. And yet another birthday note. This particular one would be the 15th of May, 1998. Seen a little bit more circulation on this particular note. Then I found a really interesting trinary. It's 2s, 8s, and 9s. You've got 2, 999, 888, 2. So a really neat trinary. I don't recall ever seeing one like that before, so this is probably a first in my list. A trinary like this is likely to be the type that would be worth some money because it is interesting, having 3 in a row, 3 in a row, and then the bookends like that. So yeah, that may actually be worth a little bit extra. Then I found another one. This is 4s, 7s, and 8s. Not in the greatest of shape, so probably going to go back. Found quad zeros. Starting off, those are leading zeros, so that means that's a fairly low number, 4,125 as far as the number goes. Probably not worth anything additional, but you know I'm trying to find matching serial numbers, and that's how I do it. This one also has quad zeros. Now, at first glance, I thought this was a really low number. I thought it was 702 as far as the low number goes, but it does start with a 4, so that doesn't count as a low number. But it does have 4 zeros and the 5th right there, so 4 in a row, 5 total. Found quads again. This is quad 1s. This bill's a little bit rough. Quad 4s on this one, also kind of rough shape there. Quad 4s on this one, 2003. It's really rough shape on it, but it is an older note, so you'd expect it to be that way. So I will check it to see if I've got one of these or not, probably going back in circulation. Quad 4s on this one, much better shape, and it's got the 5th, starting off with a 4 as well. Quad 5s on this one. Here's quad 7s. Really bad shape there. That one's pretty rough. And some stars. 2017 star, really nice shape on this one. 2017 here, not quite as nice. Another 2017 star. We get to 2013. That's seen some days. This one tore on the top right there. That's pretty bad. So it's probably going to go back in circulation if it's not rare. Then some older notes. This is 1999. Now, when I first saw this, I thought, what kind of printing error is that? But that's just somebody writing a Y on there or something to that effect. That's not a printing error. There wouldn't be a reason for a Y to be printed, so you know that's not part of the printing itself. Yeah, just damage and dirt. Another 1999. A little bit better shape. This one's still bright, 1995 on this particular one. Checking for web notes always. Not a web note. Another 1995, not a web note, pretty rough shape on this one. Another 1995, well circulated. It's an FU note. Take that for what it's worth. 1993. You don't see very many of these at all. They just weren't printed for a long period of time, so you don't get to see them. 1988A, first year for a web note shot. It's got a location here, so it's not a web note. And yeah, somebody did something to his face there. It's not in the greatest of shape. And the oldest note I found this week, check this out, a 1963A. Now you can see this one is circulated, but the paper has still got some bite to it. Yes, it's got some creases and some folds, but overall, it's in fairly decent shape. Somebody once said, you can steam that and make it good. Well, you can. I don't recommend doing that because it does change the quality of the paper. But yeah, 1963A, that is the oldest note I found this week. All right, so what did I pull out? Well, as I stated in my tip this week, $50 bills are the least printed of the notes that you're going to find. And I happened to stumble across this one when I was at my LCS. This is a 1934 $50 bill. Now you can see he had it priced at $65, which means that's $15 over face. That's all that is. So technically $15 is what I've got in this, because I can still spend this if I wanted to. Granted, I'm not spending this at all, but you can see here, series of 1934. Now what makes that special? Aside from it being a 1934 50, so a fairly uncommon denomination, it has the light green seal. Now, if you're going to be collecting notes, specifically older notes like this, most people lean toward that light green seal. It's just an unusual tone of green. It attracts a lot of attention, especially when it's next to notes that do not have that the lime green seal. You can see the difference here in the color of the seals. Modern note versus that lime green. There's also a huge difference between that and the dark green notes that they had made for the rest of the series. I'll take a quick peek at the back of this one here. Yeah, it's not perfect. It does have a hard fold here. You can see he initially had it at 70, reduced it down a little bit more. It does have the crease there, both horizontal and vertical. It does not say "In God We Trust," so this is still constitutional currency. That's always good. And check out the obligation. This note is legal tender for all debts public and private and is redeemable in lawful money at the United States Treasury or at any Federal Reserve Bank. Series of 1934. So let's take a peek at the big book and see what it has to say about this. And you'll notice I have the new version of the big book. All right. 1928A, there's 1934. Now there you get a good side-by-side of the lime green versus the dark green in the seals right there. So that's just an interesting comparison. Yeah, there's the 1934 with the vivid light green, and then the notes with darker and dull blue-green. Those are the two examples there. Mine is from Richmond, Virginia, right there. You'll see they made 4.8 million of these notes. Even in a 20, they run about $75, quickly getting up to 250 if they're in good shape. If you've got star notes of these, they can easily come close to $1,000 if they're really nice. But yeah, look at the print run. Like I said, 4.8 million. That's it. 4.8 million is barely more than one run of star notes. Our current star notes are printed at 3.2 million. This entire print run from Richmond was 4.8 million. And you'll see underneath that, Atlanta only had 3 million, Boston 2.7 million. Yeah, New York had 17 million, but you're still talking just small numbers when you consider that all of the 2017 notes that have an A to start with, they made 96 million of those. Yeah, so finding notes, the older small head notes like that, they didn't make a whole lot of them. And these are, I don't want to say they're paper, but people think of them as paper. They are flammable. They are easy to destroy. Think about how many of them have been destroyed. Think about how many of them have been turned in and destroyed by the government itself, and replaced with newer notes. There just aren't a lot of these out there. So yeah, get them while they're still cheap. This, like I said, was $15 over face. To me, that's a steal. I don't care that the book says it's worth $75. It should be worth a lot more because you just can't find them. They don't exist. Anyway, that's what I got for you guys this week. A 1934 $50 lime green Federal Reserve note. If you learned anything new this week, go ahead and hit that like button. If you like what you see and you want to see more, please subscribe. I love reading all your guys' comments. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again next week.